Hello, welcome to Shad Life. I'm actually using my new phone. I just got a Pixel 9 Pro XL. It's pretty sweet. But I'm riding my Salsa Fargo today, and I haven't done an update on this bike, so check this out. Here is Lake Harriet. You can see downtown Minneapolis off in the background. So pretty cool. I'm just gonna do a little quick ride using the lakes, and then my loop will go over along what's, the Greenway, or I believe it's called the North Cedar Trail, or is it the South Cedar Trail? I don't ever remember, but it's one of the trails that's been being worked on because they're putting a new light rail in. So I'm just gonna do a ride on it, and I'll talk a little about this bike using my phone here. I'll just hold the phone and talk while I'm riding. It's so mellow on the trails that shouldn't be a problem. I'm not in traffic or anything like that. But yeah, let's do it. So now I'm at Minneapolis. It's pretty much bike path, walking path. Pretty cool, but what's awesome is you can see downtown from right over here. Nice. It's kind of awesome to have these lakes right in the city where you can ride, and right from my house basically, and have this kind of recreation and not really have to go on any roads or anything to get here, aside from through the neighborhood. So yeah, just gonna continue on. This bike is like the most comfortable bike I have. I have that All City Cosmic Stallion. It's a bit more of a hardcore, gravel bike, and I did the Meesville 56 in the spring with it. It's a great bike, and it's on my trainer right now, but for comfort and if I want to go the distance, this bike is amazing. We'll talk a little bit more about the bike later. Okay, now I am at Cedar Lake, and what's kind of cool with Cedar Lake and the beach, later in the day, so not many people are here, but yeah, all these lakes are connected. So like Lake Harriet, Minneapolis, Lake of the Isles, which I didn't go to because I went this direction because I'm going to go hit that Cedar Trail. But they're all connected by bike paths, so it's pretty cool that you have this, and then they separate the walking path for most parts of it, and so you can kind of freely ride, and there's a separation, especially considering the differences in speeds. So it's pretty cool. So Cedar Trail is not too far up here, so we'll go ahead and hit that. But it is beautiful. It's interesting because it makes me not want to rush. I just want to have a nice, chill, relaxing ride and not push it really hard because it's just nice to be out here cruising around. Okay, so now I am on what I believe is called the North Cedar Trail, and we'll end up going to the South Cedar Trail. If I remember, it's kind of hard to always remember the naming of all these trails, but I used to just call this the Cedar Trail. But this is kind of on the north side, and then heads out to the suburbs. And then I can loop around in a city called Hopkins, and then head back towards Minneapolis on the south section. So it's pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about this bike. So I introduced this bike on my channel right after I bought it, and I think I did another video on it, but I haven't really talked about it much since. I did last year. I rode the Filthy 50 on it, which was a gravel race, 50 miles. And believe it or not, this kind of stuff in the sidewall here is from the Filthy 50, and I actually got more kind of gravel on it doing a ride out to Excelsior, which actually is that way. You go through Hopkins, and then it's kind of gravel all the way out to kind of a small little area on Lake Minnetonka called Excelsior. So pretty nice there. Anyway, back to this bike. It is steel, so 4130 chromoly. It has a carbon fork, so it's got really good ride quality. This isn't a gravel bike. I know gravel bikes are all the rage right now. They actually consider this a drop bar mountain bike, but it pretty much fits what gravel bikes are today. So if you call it a gravel bike, fine. You can call it a gravel bike, but Salsa calls it a drop bar mountain bike, and the reason for that is it can actually run full 29er plus size. I think you can put 29 by 3.0s in here. These are 29 by 2.2s. Not sure if it's 2.8 or 3.0s is the max size, but there's plenty of room to fit much bigger tires. So it is a mountain bike, and it's more of a classic, you know, let's just say 90s, early 2000s kind of mountain bike geometry with a drop bar on it, a little bit longer stem, and so on. So that's what it's called. It's 11 speed. I still have the SRAM Apex on here. I probably will upgrade that at some point. And it's got TRP mechanical brakes on it. And then the main thing I upgraded, I mean, this has a stylo crank on it, but it came with a steel chainring, and I put a aluminum wolf tooth chainring. I just want to take a little weight off of it, right? And then I'm trying out these XTR clip pedals, Shimano. I haven't used SPT in a long time. These are their top of the line clip-in mountain bike pedal, and I've got these cool 510 clip-in shoes with Shimano cleats. I'm gonna actually do some experimenting and put these on like my Canyon Spectral 125 and these shoes, and do some mountain biking and talk a little bit about what it's like to ride clipped in and stuff like that. But really I haven't changed much. I did change out the seat. This is a Terry men's titanium rail saddle, and then obviously water bottle. Oh, this wolf tooth B-rad system is super cool. You can use these mounts underneath or any other regular water bottle mounts, right? And this plate allows you to kind of adjust it. I got a spare tube on here, right? And this is there in case I need it. I'm actually running tubeless, but if I ever need a tube, because I can't reinflate my tire, then I have one. So I kind of have this bike set up to do the gravel events I've done and longer distances without having to worry about not being able to repair it. I have CO2 cartridges, an inflator in here, multi-tool, things like that, so I can fix things if I need to. But yeah, this is my long distance bike. It's really got me interested in wanting to do some bike packing. It's kind of a popular term these days, but one thing I would like to do, and I've done it before and I prefer it that way, is I want to get a one-wheel trailer. There used to be Bob branded ones, but now it seems like Burley has one called the Coho, C-O-H-O. I think I'm going to get one of those and try that, and I might get the skewer, because you have to get a special, or not skewer, but through axle, special through axle to run those trailers. So I might find one for this bike and then find one for my titanium Esker Hayduke and keep my bike minimum. But the nice thing about that is if I do go bike packing and I go somewhere, I can detach the trailer and then go ride my bike unloaded. I like that idea, especially if I'm on a mountain bike and doing that kind of thing. So and I also like that the weight isn't all on the bike and it's pretty low to the ground. I used to have a Bob trailer, so I really like that method of doing things. But that probably, I don't think that's going to happen this year. I might have to wait till next year, but we'll see. But let's get back on the trail and continue this ride. We're heading into St. Louis Park, and then we'll end up in Hopkins. That bridge is kind of where we're kind of right on the border between Minneapolis and St. Louis Park right now. I think it's probably where France Avenue is, back in here somewhere. So there you have it. So now we're out a ways in St. Louis Park. And if you've been following my channel and saw the video about us on those classic BMX bikes, this is the bridge we were doing some of those fun things on. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The other side is curvy like this, even better than this side. But yeah, that gets you over the railroad tracks. This bridge is relatively new. I think it opened up last year or something. But yeah, I actually used to live over here, and those Dakota BMX trails were right over there off in the distance. So that was also in that video. And this area was where I learned a lot of flatland tricks, because I lived in the house right over there, that gray one, and it was yellow at the time. But I used to just come across the street and practice flatland tricks for hours on that slab on the playground. It's pretty fun, and we're talking high school years now, so a long time ago, mid-80s. Now we're by Aquila Park, which is another place I spent a lot of time. A friend of mine lived over in those apartments. They got some basketball courts. Super cool, but it's awesome that the bike trail comes through here. And where I'm riding right now used to be railroad tracks, and we used to ride down the railroad tracks because we were always trying to head over to Hopkins and stuff. So it was pretty funny. As kids, we were hanging out on the railroad tracks all the time. Now they have a bike path. I mean, I'm actually probably more accurately going in the area where the tracks were now. But yeah, this used to be railroad. Now it's a bike/pedestrian path. Pretty cool. We will be entering Hopkins very shortly. Okay, right at that curve, I'm now entering. I mean, a part of the trail is actually over there. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if the main crossing is gonna be there and you get on here. I think that might be what it is. But this is now the South Cedar Trail. And then eventually it turns into what's called the Greenway, which goes through Minneapolis. This big bridge thing is the new light rail that's gonna go in. I think it's gonna be called the Southwest Light Rail. So it goes all the way from downtown Minneapolis and out to a suburb called Eden Prairie Mall, Eden Prairie Center. And then that cool place is called the Depot. And it is a coffee shop. So if you're doing a route along here, and I used to actually do this route a long time ago. I was working at a place out in Minnetonka, and I was living over in St. Louis Park, and I would ride my bike and commute, and on my commute I would stop there in the morning and get coffee. And I'd literally just bring my coffee with me while I was riding, because it's such a chill ride. I can drink my coffee and ride, and I'd ride to work. It was super cool. So like when they talk about Minneapolis being a bikeable city, it is really bikeable. It's really cool. But yeah, this will just head me back towards Minneapolis and get me back to the lakes, and then I'm just going to continue the other half of the lakes that I rode to get here. This bike's amazing. I'm at 10.42 miles and I don't even feel like I've hardly ridden at all. Like, I'm not sore. I'm not, like, my wrists aren't tired from too much weight on the bars. Seat's comfortable. Of course, seat's personal. You got to get the right seat that fits you. The stock seat on a bike is very likely not going to be the best seat for you, so you always want to get a good seat. But yeah, it's really easy to ride, super chill, super stable, and just comfortable, like because of the frame being steel and the forks being carbon. It absorbs bumps. You know, the larger volume tire helps too, so it's not like a harsh ride. So I feel like I could just go forever. I didn't mention that, but I did put a wider bar on here. These are 48 centimeters. I think this came with either 42s or 44s. I don't remember. So yeah, there you go. Let's get back on this road. So this trail goes for quite a long ways, and it's mostly straight. You can just haul on it. This neighborhood over here, I used to actually live there back a few blocks in. But yeah, there's the new light rail, and there's also freight rail that goes there, so nothing really new, but kind of cool to have this here. And it's pretty good commuter route, but it's also a great recreational route if you just want to get out and pound out some distance and speed, especially out here where it's less congested. If you're a road biker and you like to push it to 20 miles per hour, you can do it all day around here. But once you get in where it's more congested, I don't recommend people plan to be going that fast. If they are, they need to know they're going to have to slow down and be careful in some areas. But out here, let her rip. And so this is where the trail ends for now. I don't know what this is all going to look like once they get this built, but they still have this stuff to finish up with the light rail, and then I'm assuming the bike path will just go right alongside it. But for now, there's kind of a little detour that we got to take, but they still made it so we have a detour and a trail, so we're not just spit out onto the road or something. So I think that's kind of cool. Not ideal, but it's better than the way that I've seen things like this done before. But again, I don't know how much trail before we get spit out somewhere that's less desirable. But the bike path is literally right over by that kind of glass building there, so it's not that far to get over onto the lakes. So I haven't done this before, so guess I'll find out. Well, that was cool. They literally built a temporary paved path that goes around all this construction still under that bridge and everything without sending us out on the road or sidewalk or anything like that. I love that they considered that. And then now we just pop right back on the greenway, which just keeps on going. It won't be far before I cut off and head over to Minneapolis. And here I am back at Minneapolis, and then this leads me to Lake Harriet and then back home. So pretty awesome. I'm at 16 miles right now, but we'll see what it ends up being when I get back. All right, back home. Salsa Fargo, love that bike. And we're waiting, oh here it is, 20.04 miles exactly. So basically 20 miles for that ride. Super basic, not very hilly, things like that. There are some more hilly routes if I wanted to take them for more of a training aspect. But what's really cool about these trails is that I could add on easily. I skipped doing Lake of the Isles, which is also connected in those 3 lakes I did do, and that would have added about another 3 miles. I could, if I really wanted to add a lot more distance, I could ride Minnehaha Parkway to Minnehaha Falls, and along the Minnesota River, and then I would have a choice of hitting the Greenway and taking the Greenway back, and we saw in this video where the Greenway connects up to get to Bede-Makaska, or I could keep going and kind of, there's some trails that kind of cut through right by downtown Minneapolis and connect to that North Cedar Trail, but I think that area is still under a lot of construction and there's a lot of detours and stuff still, so that route wouldn't be ideal yet, but as this construction goes, more and more stuff is getting done. So loving this bike. For those of you that are following my channel or subscribe because of the state 4130 all road, I don't have that bike anymore. This is kind of its replacement, and so now I kind of have two drop bar bikes. I have this one, which is more of my casual long distance super comfortable bike, and then I have my all city Cosmic Stallion for speed and kind of the more hardcore side. I really like that bike, also super comfortable, but it's got a little bit lower stack height on the front and the bars are a little lower. I'm 57 and I have to say the low front end just doesn't do it for me. So I might get some of those Redshift bars. I don't know which one yet, but they have one called the Kitchen Sink, which kind of has a little bit of a rise to it and has some options for running a flatter area here. Not for this bike, I'm talking for the Cosmic Stallion. This bike I'm comfortable. They also have one, I forget what the name of it is, but it's got, almost looks like a little bit of a BMX bar. The crossbar with either a 30 millimeter rise or 50 millimeter rise. And the nice thing about that extra bar on those is that you can mount lights and things like that to them. So, so the Cosmic Stallion might get a handlebar upgrade, just to make it a little more comfortable, but still with the skinnier wheels and kind of lighter weight build on it, and definitely higher end components. That one has the GRX 810, I think it is, whatever their highest end group set is. And I did upgrade the cranks because that came with these crappy FSA cranks, and I upgraded to the GRX higher end cranks in that bike. That bike is also a 2x11, and I like that because it's got more of a gear range. So it's definitely more of a bike I would use to get somewhere faster. Like I used it for the Meesville 56 gravel event in the spring because, you know, I want to go faster. That was the goal. So this more for going distance. So those are my two drop bar bikes. I talked a lot about the Cosmic Stallion, but yeah, the Fargo. Sweet. I appreciate your support from my channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'm gonna go eat some food. Peace.